DeAndre.
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 The one and only.
When they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Y'all absolutely knew that I had to say something about this fucking story. This was probably one of the craziest stories I think I've ever seen in my life in regards to a situation like Carlee Russell. All right, this Carlee Russell case, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything just so outlandishly stupid since the Jussie Smollett case, straight up, right? And a lot of people were comparing this case to the Jussie Smollett case. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, let me, kind of bring you up to speed a little bit before I kind of get into it. So last Thursday night, Carlee Russell, who's 25 years old, she's an Alabama nursing student. She left work, she was driving along I-495, called 911 saying that she saw a toddler walking alongside the interstate on her way back home, right? She told the dispatcher she was going to check on the child. Then she called her brother's girlfriend before she just ended up vanishing, right? Like just straight up, like out of a movie, like just like unsolved mysteries. Like she just poof, like a fart in the wind. Like she just left. She was on the phone and the phone, like she just stopped talking, but you could still kind of hear like the phone, like you could still kind of hear the stuff in the background. So the phone line didn't completely go out. So for about 48 hours, the world was in a panic. I don't think I've ever seen the world rally around something like this since the epic fail of the Love is Blind reunion on Netflix. Like, I don't think I've ever seen the world rally around something so crazy. I mean, this got to the point where it was not only a nationwide story, but a worldwide story. And everybody and their mother on social media, the police department, family members, her neighbors, her parents' neighbors, like, everybody was trying to find this woman. 2 nights later, right, 48 hours later, after all of that, right, local, state, federal investigators, everybody's in on this shit, right? She then appears at the doorstep of her parents where she lives. When she was found, right, when she came back home and everything, there was a lot of kind of unanswered questions, right, that a lot of people had. Obviously, like I said, there's so much public interest in this case that obviously, people are going to want some closure as to what the hell's going on, right? Like a lot of people were sending prayers, doing everything you could possibly do to try to get her home. So once she's actually home, then that's when stuff just didn't really start adding up. The Hoover police chief, Nick Durzis, said at a press conference yesterday, okay, there was a big press conference yesterday to announce and give some closure to the public as to, what was kind of going on. Now, I watched it. I did, look at the press conference because obviously, just like everybody else, I was wanting to know what the fuck was going on with this case too. And honestly, it was a doozy. It was something that I don't think a lot of people, well, some people expected for this press conference to go this way and others probably didn't, or others hoped that it didn't go the way that it eventually ended up going, which was that the chief of police for Hoover, Alabama, pretty much came out and said that and confirmed that this was pretty much all a hoax. All of this was a straight up lie that was told by Carlee. Obviously, the $1 million question is, why would she do this? And he responded, only Carlee can provide these answers. Back up a little bit, right? How do we know that this was a hoax, right? Well,
at 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. He stated he then made her go over a fence, claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. Told detectives the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists.
So far, the chief of police is pretty much telling you what Carlee said happened to her, right? This is her account. I just have to applaud the detail that she goes into, right? To make all of this up, to literally just make the public wait on pins and needles as to what the hell was going on with you. You give details like this. And I just want to know who directed this movie. You know, Spielberg, Spike Lee. Like, I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a goddamn movie. Like, it sounds like something out of a fucking movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who directed this shit? Who produced this?
She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. Detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "Birmingham Bus Station," was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case.
Yep. So as you can see, those are some very interesting searches on that phone, literally hours before all of this was to go down, right? Before this grand plan went down. I mean, that's pretty much open and shut at that point, because if you really kind of pay attention to the chief of police and what he was saying, obviously, he really just said, he's just stated the facts. He stated what was found, the fact that they literally didn't find a single shred of evidence to support what Carlee said happened to her. She literally looked up a movie about abduction before she ends up going missing. It was crazy to even hear that. And for the people that were skeptical before, I mean, this just gave them all the ammunition they need. And honestly, this is crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things that I think I've seen, for it to have been this crazy situation that has blown up on social media that I doubt that Carlee herself even accounted for it to all be one big just load of horse crap. Oh man, I could only imagine how embarrassed her parents must feel. You know, speaking of her parents, and they, you know, were talking about this whole situation as well. I'm not gonna, you know, kind of show you every single clip, but you know, they pretty much in a nutshell defending, you know, their daughter, right? And saying like, yeah, She's been going through a lot. She really needs her privacy, all of that. But what I found very interesting when I looked at the interview is just how, super defensive the mother came off, and it wasn't a defensive as in like, I want to make sure my daughter's protected. Like, it was more so like just defensive really towards social media. And my thing is this: if I got a daughter that's missing, or that was missing for a while, I didn't know what the hell was going on. She's finally back home. The last thing I'm gonna really give a damn about is whatever social media got to say. And the fact that, it just came across as if she knew that it was all a big lie, but she just didn't want people to look any further into it, right? Like, she didn't want people to really ask more questions, which is really a dead end, right? Like, social media is gonna be all up in your business whether you want them to be or not, right? Like, you don't have to give them permission or give them any kind of instruction to be going through your shit, because that's exactly what the fuck they're gonna do, right? That's all social media knows how to do, is be all up in your business. So people are gonna ask questions. And honestly, with a case like this, people need to ask questions because there's more questions than there are answers. Now, the police chief said that Russell searched for information about one-way bus tickets out of Birmingham to Nashville, scheduled to leave the night she disappeared, as well as the location of the bus stop in Birmingham. She also searched a movie taken, like I said, about kidnapping of 2 girls, okay, the same afternoon that she vanished. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, Spielberg couldn't even make, Christopher Nolan couldn't have directed this. And he said, I do think it's highly unusual that the day someone gets kidnapped, 7 or 8 hours before they were searching the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very strange. Yeah, I find that hella strange myself too. Makes absolutely no sense. Now, here's what we know, right? She allegedly, took a robe and took some toilet paper from work, right? So she allegedly stole that stuff from work, and then afterwards she, went to a Target and bought snacks. I'm gonna give you kind of a brief little timeline, right? Now, security footage where Carlee worked showed her, taking a bathrobe and some toilet paper in a concealed fashion. She stopped at a Target where she bought some Cheez-Its, a granola bar, before ordering some food. Right after Carlee made her 911 call along the highway, officers arrived on the scene and found the food, the cell phone, her purse, and her wig near the vehicle. Okay, she legitimately ripped off her wig. Like, she snatched off the wig. All right, she literally got her wig snatched, okay, by herself. She took it herself. All right, but not the robe, the toilet paper, and the snacks that she got after work, right? So all the other stuff that she left, right? I found it very convenient that she left, I think, her phone, and I think there was an Apple Watch that was there too. I think a lot of people were saying that, all the stuff that can be easily tracked to you. I find that's very interesting that you leave that stuff in the car, but the robe and the toilet paper you take with you. That's interesting. She says she followed a toddler, right? Now, I find it very interesting how she's home, but nobody knows anything about this toddler. And even the police say there's no evidence of a missing child at all. And there's a key piece of evidence in this case is that call, right? Is the 911 call that she made, which she said she saw a toddler age boy walking barefoot alongside I-495. Now, for those of y'all that live down there in Alabama, I'm sure you realize, I-495 is a very, it's busy interstate. Like, it's not, every interstate is busy, but, I-495 is pretty fucking busy. A cell phone data shows Russell traveled about 600 yards while on the phone with the dispatcher. Russell said that the boy was wearing nothing but a white t-shirt and a diaper. A couple days later, she told police that when she got out the car, a white man with orange hair and a bald spot, okay, it sounds like fucking It the Clown, with orange hair, came and, grabbed her up and did all kind of bullshit to her. You know what I'm saying? She sounded like she was describing Carrot Top or something. It's crazy, man. And it's really not funny, but the shit that's being said, the more that's being said, the more like senseless this becomes. And honestly, you kind of have to laugh at it, But detectives didn't find any evidence of a missing child anywhere near the interstate. They didn't receive any other reports of a missing child that matched the description that she gave. To think that a toddler, okay, wearing nothing but a t-shirt and diapers, was walking 600 plus yards, that's 6 NFL football fields, okay, that a toddler 3 or 4 years old possibly is doing, right? And no one else on this interstate saw this. Nobody else made a phone call. I mean, that would be some weird shit if I'm rolling down the highway and I see some fucking baby in diapers just off the interstate. Yeah, hell, I would call the fucking cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just something I would do. You know what I mean? Or I would be like, yo, damn, you see that shit? You know, I'll be looking to the cars around me and be like, yo, did you see that shit? Like, what the hell is going on? It'd be weird as fuck. But the fact that no one else called about this and you're the only one, interesting. 600 yards. Y'all know how big 600 yards is? That's crazy. So, you know, with all of this being said, you know, obviously Carlee hasn't really been wanting to talk much since she's been home. And obviously with us finding out that most of this shit has been fabricated, the story is pretty much all a lie. She made everything up. You know, so it's only right that, you know, she doesn't want to talk, because I'm sure that she's trying to get her story straight, because she's going to eventually have to say something, right? Like, there's going to be pressure put on her to say something, because literally the entire world came to a grinding halt to try and find your ass. Okay. So you're going to have to say something in order to kind of redeem yourself at this point, because you're looking kind of crazy out here, Carlee. Unfortunately, everybody that you have been affiliated with, people that, you know, I guess were in on it, weren't in on it, I don't know. But everybody's got secondhand embarrassment that is affiliated with you. And the people that were, you know, obviously praying for you and wanting, you know, her to actually be okay and get home. You know, yeah, she's home, she's okay, but at what cost, right? Like, if she lied about the whole thing, which is pretty much looking like she did, then that is an unbelievable, crazy ass lie. And really, we don't really understand why she did it. Now, there are rumors floating around out there that this was, you know, because apparently her and her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, were kind of going through something, and this was just a way to get attention from him. It's, you know, kind of, it's all rumors, right? All alleged. But, you know, she's probably trying to formulate a story that she feels like was going to make sense for why she decided to kind of jump out the blue and make up this crazy ass story the way that she did. And I don't think it's going to work. It's not going to work. So you're better off just coming out publicly, and not no little handwritten statement either. Like, not no little IG note or some Facebook post. Okay. Like, you're going to have to get your ass up on camera, and you're going to have to tell the world, like, yo, I fucked up. Okay, like, I fucked up, and it's gonna be embarrassing. You're gonna have to eat some crow, but, you know, listen, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go through this, and it's gonna be picked apart for the next couple of weeks, almost probably forever, really, because it's just the wildest thing. Like, why would you make up something like this? The whole thing is that, you know, a lot of people were just like, yo, someone's lying, right? Like, there's lies somewhere in this mess. Someone's making a lie sandwich somewhere. I smell it, and I need to know where it's coming from. Now, there was footage released by, you know, the police. It was a traffic camera video that was released that shows Carlee Russell's car there on the interstate with her blinkers on. And it's pitch black, right? Like, I believe it's like 9 something at night, right? And it's dark, right? It's an interstate. There's woods all over the fucking place. It's not that well lit besides the cars, you know, out there. So it's really hard to see. But I'll you know, kind of show you a little bit right here. Now, you tell me where you see a toddler at. And it's dark as shit. And then I can't see it. Like, I don't know. I don't see no fucking kid anywhere. All right. No white t-shirt, no black t-shirt, no green t-shirt. I don't see nobody. All I see is that damn car blinking. That's all I see. You tell me if you see a fucking kid. I don't. Another crazy thing that I find is that when Carlee ended up getting home, you know, everybody that was, you know, affiliated, I guess, you know, obviously her mother, her parents, father, boyfriend, all these people, you know, they getting on social media, they getting online talking about, you know, oh, she just got home, you know, got to give us a minute, you know, give us some time to grieve or whatever, you know, just give us some time to process it all, which is understandable. We get it. But to then, for the parents to then get on TV, right, national TV, and be talking about it, but not really saying much of anything, right? Like they pretty much said on television, like we can't really say much. So then what the fuck you on TV for? What the hell you talking for? If you can't explain, this is a worldwide issue at this point. You're gonna have to say something. Somebody going to talk. And I love how the police chief, when he was giving this whole breakdown at the press conference yesterday, basically said, you know, somebody, yeah, like this, we're gonna get down to the bottom of this. You can believe it. But he said it in a way that was like, somebody gonna pay for this. All right. All the work we had to do, all the overtime that was paid, all the dogs we had to get, all of the man hours that we had to really put out here. Somebody gonna pay for this. All right, we're gonna get down to the bottom of this. And I felt like I knew what he meant by that. Essentially saying she gonna have to pay for it. Because there's literally there's nobody else that we can point to except for her. And something tells me that, you know, maybe her parents, you know, when she got home and they really kind of understood what the fuck was going on, you know, maybe they understood, damn, you know, she might low-key be lying, you know what I mean? Or maybe she just straight up said, yeah, I'm lying. Like, you know, this didn't happen. You know, I just wanted to get away for a little bit. You know, I just wasn't really feeling. Because apparently the rumor was that, you know, apparently she had gotten fired from her job and she had failed out of nursing school. And these are all rumors that are out there, right? And apparently she was on some drugs or whatever the case. You know, that's just rumors, right? It's all alleged shit, you know, but that's what is being said out there. So it's understandable if, you know, somebody said, you know what, I just need a break, right? I just need to kind of chill or whatever. But that's where, you know, you kind of go away a little bit. Now, it was stories that she was, you know, at a Red Roof Inn. You know, she was kind of at a hotel for, you know, those few days, and she just, you know, decided to let some steam off. I mean, if that is in fact true, that is crazy. Like that is just unbelievable. If the parents, you know, my question to you is, if y'all knew that this shit was faulty from the beginning, why even go on television in the first place? Y'all low key made it worse. Y'all low-key made it worse. Y'all shouldn't have just said shit. Y'all shouldn't have said nothing. And, you know, what's kind of interesting is that when she got home, the fact that there wasn't really any immediate, like, anybody really on site to say, you know, and nobody with a microphone, nobody, you know, really saying, hey, like, we found her, you know, like there was immediate news coverage of it. You know, I don't know. It was just a little fishy to me, man. Her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever, his name is Thomar Simmons, you know, he put up a post, you know, shortly after she got home, basically saying like, you know, thanks, you know, to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my girlfriend's life. Thank you to everyone who shared a picture, came out, you know, who helped try to search for her. She was fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again, she isn't able to give any updates. Once again, I thank you guys for helping. You know, like he came out with all of that, right? Now, since the press conference yesterday where the police chief came out and basically said, you know, that this whole shit was a lie, he deleted it, right? So it's not on his page anymore, okay? So that should tell you some shit too. Obviously, there's a lot of race baiting going on with this whole thing, a lot of excuse making in this whole shit, you know, from some brain dead people that I see in comment sections across social media about this. The reality is this was a flat out lie. It just was, okay? Whether it be for attention, whether it be for some revenge, whether it be for some, who knows? But it was a lie. Okay, I think it's pretty clear to people that this all was just some made up bullshit. And a lot of people were saying, well, you know, this was obviously a mental health crisis, and you know, y'all got to give her the same respect that you would, you know, the same energy that y'all would give a white woman if this happened, you know, to a white person. And it's just like, yo, first of all, right is right, wrong is wrong. But I'll tell you this. You know, had this been, you know, any other, you know, had this been anybody else, I feel like it wouldn't have went this stupid. I feel like they wouldn't have been this dumb, right? I feel like it would have been a little bit better planning if this were somebody else, okay? Because, you know, and this isn't the first story that someone has made up something like this. It actually did happen to a white person, okay? Like the runaway bride, I believe she was white, right? That was a whole story that happened a couple of years ago where, you know, she legitimately was about to get married to someone. She ended up not wanting to get married to him, but instead of just, you know, going up the aisle with her big girl panties on, or just not going up the aisle and just saying to everybody, nah, you know, I don't want to get married today, rather than just doing that, she decides to, skip town and flee and all that, and made up a whole big story and just lied about it. So this whole thing about it being race, no, it's just about people being stupid. Okay. This was a thought out thing, right? This was a planned out, thought out, I guess you can call it plan that was just poorly executed. And she didn't think that it was going to get this much steam, this much, attention. She just planned poorly. And once the block got too hot, she decided to say, you know what? I'm going to take my ass home. And just thinking about it, trying to, I guess, put myself in the, shoes of these people that are, that know her and affiliated with her, obviously her parents and boyfriend, all these people, relatives, just the fact that, you were selfish enough that you didn't even think about them, right? And the position that you're putting them in is just selfish, to say the least. The fact that you got these, your family members and your friends out here looking crazy, just straight up embarrassed. Like, I'm catching secondhand embarrassment and I don't even know you. There's just no way that she can walk away from this, man. There's no way that she can walk away from the whole world wanting to help you. There's just no way, because this ain't, just some little story. No, this is worldwide news. The world be damned if you just go into hiding. You can't go back to work, the next day after this. You can't go back to the gym after this. You can't go, back to wherever. There is no going back to, a sense of normalcy, right? A sense of normality after this, right? There's no, you don't get that's not, no, you don't get that. Your face was literally everywhere. Everybody and their mama know who you are. Okay. So you're going to have to address this and face whatever comes with this, because you started it. This was all something that she started. And, the crazy part about it is that she thought that she could carry this out and really play in people's faces. So because of the fact that she thought that, honestly, at this point, the jokes that I'm seeing and the memes that I've been seeing over social media now are warranted at this point, right? You deserve all of the embarrassment that you're going to get, because you really didn't think with this. You really didn't think this through. And the fact that it got the attention that it got just makes it even 10 times worse for you. And honestly, I don't feel sorry for you. You can't play with people like that and think that shit gonna be cool. And honestly, what makes it even worse is that the person, one of the primary people that was trying to find her, was a woman by the name of Angela Harris. Angela Harris was the mother of Anaya Blanchard, who, she was a girl that was abducted and murdered 4 years ago. And once she heard about this whole story, she actually was one of the first people to actually rally the troops. And, she got in touch with Carlee's parents, and she, like I said, she really got into action trying to find her, because she didn't want Carlee's parents to have to deal with the pain and anguish that she went through with her daughter's disappearance, right? Those are the people that hopped in on this and tried to actually help. For this to all be fake is pretty much a slap in the face to people like Angela Harris. Just absolute insanity. I think it's safe to say she royally screwed up. She royally messed up. So she is going to seriously be canceled. I don't even like using that word, but I think it's safe to say she's going to be canceled. Just a crazy situation. It's still an ongoing situation, ongoing case. So still more information to come out, but I don't even know if I want to hear the rest of it, because this shit is already crazy. Anyway, man, that's all I wanted to say on it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, man. But other than that, man, Lord have mercy. Peace.